Hello, world. This is Edward Bevilacqua, editor of La Voce magazine, and today we have the good fortune of having a little chat with Anthony Salamone from originally Philadelphia, right?
That's correct.
Okay, Anthony, thanks for taking the time to sit down with us for a few minutes. We know you're busy, and we happen to be at a Starbucks in the Santa Fe Casino in Northwest. Is this Northwest Las Vegas?
Northwest.
Area? Northwest Las Vegas. So, Anthony, tell us a little bit about your Italian roots. Where is your family from?
Originally, the grandparents are from Naples, Italy.
Okay.
Came over on the boat in 1921, settled in Philadelphia.
Okay, Philadelphia. And so are you familiar with Chef Parma's pizza? Parma?
Sure.
Okay. Because that's Napolitan pizza, right?
Yeah.
Okay. But is that different from Philadelphia pizza?
Not really. We have all styles of pizza there.
What's your favorite style?
Thin crust, just plain.
Okay.
But we make our own too. You know,
so you do? Okay. Well, we'll talk about that in a second. So you grew up in Philadelphia?
Yes, sir.
What part?
Norristown, Pennsylvania.
Norristown, Pennsylvania.
Right outside of Valley Forge.
Okay. So I grew up on the West Coast. So my East Coast geography is not good.
That's okay.
Okay. Now, do you know where Kennett
Square is? Kennett Square?
Yeah, Kennett Square. Is that
Mushroom
far
country.
away?
No,
Huh?
not at all.
Okay.
That's mushroom country.
Oh, is that what it is? Okay. We received at the Italian American Club. We received a request from the Italian American Club there to do like a reciprocal thing. So okay, so you grew up on that side of
I'd say it's about 25, 30 miles away.
west, north, south.
North. Kennett Square.
That Kennett Square is 25 miles north. Okay, good, cool. So so cold winters.
Terrible.
Terrible.
We were in the masonry business. Grandpa was a mason.
In Italy?
Yeah, and then he came to Philadelphia. He started masonry work in Philadelphia.
Okay.
And we only have 6-7 months of working time.
Got it.
And the weather dictates whether or not you're eating salmon or you're going to eat Rice Krispies. And in the winter, we have to snow plow. And then again, we're relying on whether or not we get snow. So the weather dictates everything.
I think I've interviewed 4 whose family came from the masonry business.
Sure, the Italians built all the steps and stoops.
Yeah, well, and invented cement too.
Sure.
A lot of people don't know that.
Back in the Roman days.
Yeah,
that's right.
Exactly. And so, are you familiar with, do you know Frank Bonato from Fifth Avenue Restaurant Group? Well, you've only been here a short time.
I've only been in Las Vegas. It'll be 3 years in November.
Okay, so he's in the restaurant business. He has food courts in a lot of the casinos. His dad was in the masonry business, and Frank told me this in New Jersey.
Right.
So he talked about the winters. He said it's a tough business. You got to be physically tough.
That's right. And mentally tough.
Okay. And he said in the winters it's tough. And he said as a kid, or his dad built a couple homes a year or something like that, and his dad liked using used brick. So his job as a kid was to clean them all.
Hated it, didn't he? Yes, he did.
Okay. And then
we don't do that anymore.
Okay. You buy used brick?
You buy used brick.
Okay.
Kids won't go for it anymore.
Okay. And then Carmen Iovino, he's from the Naples area, just outside of Naples, his family. His dad, they were in that business, and he's in that business here. He does a lot of brick walls and big stone walls for outside. And I'll think of the last person I interviewed that was also in the masonry business.
Yeah, it's a family tradition. Italians were all in the masonry.
And it's one of those things, it's kind of an art too, right? It's a science.
Oh, absolutely. You have to have a talent for it. You just can't be born into it. Either you have a love for it and it shows, or you're going through the motions.
Okay.
David Brenner said that was asked one time.
He's from Philadelphia.
He's from Philadelphia, and he was asked, he was Jewish. He said, how do you get along with the Italians? So we love them. We would never be able to get in and out of our house because they built the steps and stoops. So you have to take care of it.
Okay. Good. And so Carmen Iovino was telling me, I was talking to him about how do you build these big stone retaining walls that they have out here. And he said it's like putting together a jigsaw puzzle.
It is.
You just got to be able to. It's an art.
Anymore, these prefab brick companies like EP Henry, they're pre-cut out of concrete, and they're a puzzle, but they come that way, and it's much easier.
I see. So the pyramids in Egypt didn't have cement. That was just weight, I guess, right? You just put these huge stone blocks
and precise fitting.
And but you can't really do stuff like they did in Rome at the Colosseum and a lot of these buildings that take cement, concrete.
Because of engineering specifications, you have to meet requirements, and they just don't make things like they used to.
Yeah. So now, let's fast forward to you. So you you grew up there. What got you to decide to come here?
I needed a fresh start.
Okay.
I was, unlike my father and relatives before me, my dad's 80 years old. He's still poor guy.
Wow.
He complains if he's not working. He complains if he is working. But I was tired of it. My boys were old enough to take over.
Okay.
I handed down the business, gave everything away to charity, and needed a fresh start. I neaded to find out what I was made of.
Mentally needed it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It felt like I was in a rut. I couldn't take the weathers.
Yeah.
Everything that I did was dictated by something else.
Okay. And now back there during the summers, are there a lot of bugs?
Bugs?
Yeah. During the summer?
More so than here.
Yeah. Okay. But
Gnats.
It's not like some places where there's
absolutely.
Okay.
And the humidity is just crazy.
Okay. So during the summer, not as good as here. During the winter, definitely.
I'm afraid to post pictures on Facebook of the weather here. I'll get death threats.
Okay. So, but what caused you to come here as opposed to like Florida or?
Back in the 60s, my uncles had a band called The Cousins. They moved out here because this was the place to go for opportunity.
Okay.
When they arrived, they got a gig with Wayne Newton.
Okay.
They opened up for Wayne Newton for years when this stage was still circular. And I flew with my grandmother as a chaperone because her English wasn't so good.
Sure.
And I spent many summers out here when it was nothing but desert.
Okay. That was in the 60s, 70s?
60s, 70s. I was 12, 13 years old.
Okay. All right. And did you like it at the time?
I loved it.
A lot of action, a lot of opportunity.
Especially for a kid.
Yeah. Okay.
It was a playground.
Okay. And it looked like it.
It looked like
I understand on the strip. Didn't even look the same.
Nothing. No. It was short and sparse.
And okay. And so you loved it as a kid. And so when you were thinking about, or when you finally got to the point of, I'm leaving the East and I'm heading West, did you have any other places you were thinking of besides here?
None.
None. Okay.
Some people think of Florida for the weather, humidity. I had a few relatives still here, my aunt, my cousins. And the weather was the big thing. You can't find better weather than Las Vegas. You could leave the potato chips open and out for 4 days and never go stale. It's so dry.
Okay. Now, what did they say about? So do you use that term? It's a dry heat. People say it's too hot in Las Vegas.
No, I'm tired of saying that. Nobody gets it unless you relate it to food. Then back home gets it. Yeah.
Okay. So when people from back east said to you or say to you, "Isn't it too hot out there during the summer?" What do you say?
We have air conditioning.
Okay, that's it.
It's a swap. The cold from the heat. It's only a short few months.
Okay.
But we don't do much outside anyway.
Yeah. Okay.
We're built for air conditioning.
Yeah. Okay, that's a good point. So you came out here a few years ago, and that wasn't during the best economic times in Las Vegas.
No, matter of fact, when I arrived, it was the worst economy in the United States.
Okay.
I was asked 3 or 4 times, why would you go somewhere where it's so bad? And I figured this would be the first place I came back again.
Okay.
And now we're number 2.
What did you find when you got here?
When I got here, everything was dead. Machines were covered up, empty projects. It was like a ghost town.
Yeah.
The unemployment rate was 11.6, I believe.
Okay.
Now it's 7.5, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so when you got here, you had some family. Did you have any friends?
No.
Okay. So
just a few cousins.
you drive or fly?
We drove.
Okay. And
We bought our three-legged dog, and we took as many days as we wanted.
Okay.
We arrived here.
Was this just you and your wife?
Just me and my wife.
Okay. You drove with your dog.
That's right.
And how long did it take to get here?
Well, you could do it in 4, but we took 8 days.
Okay.
She had never driven it before. I wanted to show her. I have driven it 5 or 6 times.
Did you go through Chicago or did you go south?
South.
Okay. Through Texas?
Yeah, we wanted to see the Cadillacs in the desert standing up. I wanted to show it to her. I had seen it before.
Okay. And so when you first got here, do you remember how you felt when you finally arrived, when you got into the city?
For a guy that thought he was doing such a tough thing, it was scary.
Okay.
I would do it again, though.
But when you were driving in your car, when you saw Las Vegas, were you scared then? Like, okay,
not scared. I was
the trip
just
is over.
Pleased. Yep. Now the adventure begins.
Okay. Now the
find a
adventure
job.
begins.
You know.
And
Yep.
what? So, how did you? Before you moved here, did you have a place you were going to stay?
I stayed with a cousin of mine.
Okay.
Just for a few weeks.
Okay.
I thought it would only take a few weeks to get on my feet.
Okay. And was that reality?
No, that wasn't reality. I did find a job 3 days in with a limousine company.
Okay.
And being here 4 days, the question was asked, if I give you the job, how will you know where to go? So I fell right into it. I GPSed everything.
Okay.
I started driving celebrities and VIPs, and I really enjoyed it.
Okay, so you landed on your feet quickly, but you didn't have any plans of being a limo driver when you were driving.
Oh,
out
absolutely
there, right?
not. I got lucky. One of the limo companies that was indicted for racketeering.
Oh, that's
they were
great.
out, and CES, the biggest convention we have here is Computer Electronics.
Yeah.
Was coming up, and this limo company had to make up for what they could provide.
Oh, wow. So good timing.
Yeah.
So you came out in the winter.
Pay. I used to get paid each job, but I mean, they have to wait. Las Vegas pay scale is every 2 weeks
Oh,
and a paycheck. So for me to get used to that was very hard.
I see. So being back east is week to week?
Oh, no, you can actually get paid from job to job. I mean, you could do a job today, a job tomorrow, and have squirrel in your pocket, no problem.
Okay, good. So, and now how's it been since that point?
Really nice. I fit in
up?
straight up.
Okay.
Straight up. If you're genuine and you're trusted, you can really make it here. The biggest misconception, everyone says that, see, Las Vegas is so small.
Right.
They say there's no sense of community and you can't trust anybody. There must be someone that can't be trusted.
Well, those are not Italian.
It's not Italian, right? I think the tightest knit community we have here is Italians from all over the country.
And so, do you find a lot of Italians from Philadelphia here?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. How about from upstate New York?
Upstate New
Buffalo?
York, not so much.
Okay.
New York, Chicago,
Yeah, a lot of New York.
New Jersey.
So the Italian American Club seems like there's 600 members in the Italian American Club, and many of the people are from Buffalo, Rochester,
Great people,
Utica, around that area, all Sicilian.
Yeah, they got some of the nicest bocce courts I've seen.
Yeah.
I built a few at home.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and we enjoy it down there. We really do.
So, there's a Philadelphia community of Italian Americans that you found here.
Sure.
Okay.
Not strictly, but you know, when we talk, we all have different dialects. When I used to drive, I used to say, "Can I offer you guys a water?" And they used to say, "You're from Philadelphia. Was water? Did you eat yet? Did you?" You know, we have.
Got it.
And they know right away.
I
You go
see.
10, 20 miles out, there's another dialect.
Okay, got it. And so, in the business keeps you busy. Now you're pretty much. What was your title? Director of sales.
Director of sales at Omni Limousine.
Okay.
Great fit for me. We built our company 94 years back home on service, reliability. People don't mind spending money if they can count on exactly what you say you're going to give them. And generation after generation, my boys are in their 30s doing the same work. We're doing work for generations that my father and grandfather did.
Okay.
We're trusted. So Omni Limousine is building a brand on trust.
And so
and
that's
service.
a lesson you learned as a kid from your grandparents?
Absolutely. Didn't matter if it was $10 or $10,000. You do what you say, do it right.
Okay, well that's like Carmen Iovino with his masonry company, he says, my name is the name of the company. And, I protect my name. I want people to...
You only leave this world with your name and your work.
So I asked in my interviews, I asked some of the guys we interviewed, what is it that makes Italian Americans different, or Italians different from other people? We don't just have cars, we have Ferraris, Lamborghini, Maserati. We just don't have food, we just don't have clothing. We have some of the best clothing designers. Buildings, construction, stuff in Rome is more than 2,000 years old. A lot of stuff there. And,
Passion.
And well, so that was one thing. And that kind of goes in. The first answer was Italians do things beyond expectations. We just don't go with, here's what the guy expects. We exceed expectations. So when somebody says design a car, we just don't design a car. We design a Fiat or an Alfa or a Lancia or a Maserati or Ferrari or Lamborghini, and the same thing with clothing. And you do that because you have passion, right?
Passion and the reward of completing something with. We all work with our hands. I don't care if it's technology now, but that's passion for.
So another person who actually writes for La Voce, Norma, said, the thing about Italian Americans is, and I guess she's including Italians, but we're all Italian Americans. So she said, the thing about us is we have the ability to picture something in our brain and turn it into something real. And a lot of people can't make
vision.
Yeah, can't make that actual thing. Like, for you in the masonry business, actually building a wall, you have to picture.
People need to see a visual. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was lucky. I have a background in art. So when I used to do an estimate, when somebody wanted to create a patio, they had the idea. They know what I could draw it.
They couldn't draw it.
They couldn't draw it. And most of my competitors couldn't draw it. They could give them a blueprint. Yeah. But most people can't read it.
Okay. Now, and then my answer would be the next step was even if they could draw it, they couldn't actually make it, right? They couldn't take it from paper to the actual real thing.
Neither could my competitors. They said, I bet you Salamone drew that. You got to get him to do it.
Okay, good. And so Italians are credited with inventing concrete. And the other thing about them that probably goes in with your business is also they're great at making tunnels.
Tunnels?
Yeah. You go through Italy, because there's a lot of mountains.
Well, archwork.
Well,
archwork is where that all came from.
Yeah.
They developed the arch.
Yeah, you're right. So what other lessons did you learn from your dad besides passion, your name, your word is your bond? Hard work,
Empathy.
Obviously.
Empathy.
Okay.
You can't always judge someone unless you can put yourself in that position.
Okay.
You can't help someone if you haven't put yourself in that same place.
Got it. Okay.
Empathy is totally important. To put yourself on an even keel with someone else before you judge someone.
Got it. Okay. And hard work, obviously.
Hard work. The term work with your head, not your ass was,
okay. Smart, work smart.
Yep.
Right? Okay. Now, so I have one last question.
Sure.
Oh, I have two. So, what do you say to people about your decision to come to Las Vegas?
I recently went home for a viewing, a good friend of ours, and everyone asked me the same question. I see your pictures. I see the fun you're having. Do you still love it? I said, I love it. You have everything here. It's the problem. People don't realize that they have time left. I mean, I'm 59 years old. When I made this decision 2 years ago, I'm starting my life all over again. They are too stuck in repetition. I think Las Vegas is the best place on earth.
That sort of reminds me, we talked a little bit about Bob Anderson.
Yeah, Bob's a great guy.
And you've seen his show. You saw the show before it was the actual
Before it
show.
was produced. Yeah.
And what do you think of the show?
I love the show. I think that's the biggest request I have from friends and relatives who come to visit. Can you get me tickets? It's not always that simple.
Yeah.
But they always ask about Bob Anderson's show. Always.
Now, let's see. I gave you the new copy of the Voce.
Yes, sir.
Look at the back.
There he is.
Yeah. So he's
the man.
The Italian American Club donated their back page to Bob.
Awesome.
His show runs through the end of April at the Palazzo. I've gone twice, and I took my dad, who's 83, the first time had seen Sinatra live. He said, that's exactly what his show was like. Number one, that's exactly what Sinatra would do. He said, number two, I think that Bob was better than some Sinatra shows.
Someone else said the same thing. You got to be careful how loud you say that. But yeah, Bob was better than some Frank.
When you do your show all the time, you're entitled to have some bad nights, right? Not Bob. I'm saying
no.
Frank
Yeah,
Sinatra.
well, Frank. I mean, they all ran together.
Yeah. So
entertaining and nightlife was.
Yeah. So Bob Anderson. I just wanted to talk about that. Get that in.
Sure.
Bob's interview was very good, and he's a member of the Italian American Club also. And in his show, he always mentions the Italian American Club on Sahara. So,
Bob, if you're listening, I need tickets.
Okay, we'll make sure he knows about this.
Yeah.
So, okay, last question.
Yes, sir.
Sauce or gravy?
Gravy.
Okay, why gravy?
Sauce goes on pizza. Gravy's cooked all day long, and it's cooked down.
Okay.
From the tomatoes all the way down. It's not something you put together. Sauce, you can make a summer sauce with chopped tomatoes, a little bit in the skillet. No, gravy.
Now, in gravy, do you have meat?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I mean, it all depends where you come from. You can put the pork in.
Yeah. So, a lot of people, when I ask that, they say gravy or sauce. And one of the things is what makes it gravy is the meat. Because I interviewed somebody from Italy, and they're on salt, and they say gravy has flour in it.
Has what?
Flour. They're thinking of meat gravy,
right?
Brown gravy.
Right.
You start with butter and flour, and
no, it all depends where they're from.
That's why we ask the question.
Now, my grandmother made the gravy with the meat sometimes.
Yeah.
The sausage or the meatballs. They were made on the side, and then she let them, get the flavor, and then you take them out. But gravy is all the real ingredients cooked all day long. Okay. You can't wait to have it until it's done. It fills the house with it.
I remember who the other masonry guy was, Phil Ruffino. He's from New York. He is a Verrazano's Pizza here over on near Henderson on Windmill. And he said gravy.
Yeah,
and he also said, though, because of the meat. That's why he said gravy.
It could be. But see, when you have the meat, it's got to cook even longer because it's cooking in the gravy.
Sure.
So it is a long cook.
Yeah. No, I think it's where you grew up. My grandmother, and we're from Abruzzi, she called it gravy. And I asked my dad, why she called it gravy? He said, well, because she made it with meat.
Yeah.
And but virtually everyone from the East Coast seems to call it gravy.
Absolutely. You're determined what kind of Italian you are when they say you make sauce or gravy. That's the first thing. Yeah.
Well, and Frank Bonanno told me when he was a kid, he remembers the story. He was about 7. He went to a friend's house who was not Italian for Thanksgiving, and they asked him, "Would you like gravy on your turkey?"
He got brown turkey gravy.
No, well, yeah, he said, "I didn't understand. Why would anybody put Italian sauce or Italian gravy on their turkey?" And so he remembers that to this day. He's in his late 60s, early 70s, something like that. And so anyway, Anthony, thank you very much for your
my
time.
pleasure.
It was
Call me Tony Bag of Donuts, please.
Okay, Tony Bag of Donuts. There we go. Thank you.
You're welcome.